most times, former international professional players get to retire from football, get into coaching, getting into different space of life in terms of contributing to humanity, or probably making some entrepreneurship moves. This is why former Liberian international Musa Shannon has been into cultural entertainment, but also delving into cultural and tourism. He's been into this close to 15 years. He's opened his Nana Lodge located in Rabas Post. He's not just invested. Well, most times, former international professional players get to retire from football, get into coaching, getting into different space of life in terms of contributing to humanity, or probably making some entrepreneurship moves. This is why former Liberian international Musa Shannon has been into cultural entertainment, but also delving into cultural and tourism. He's been into this close to 15 years. He's opened his Nana Lodge located in Rabas Post. He's not just invested into football, he also invested into different sporting disciplines, talking about, for instance, surfing, one of the world's most acclaimed and outstanding sporting events. So Mr. Shannon celebrates his 15 years anniversary. That will be on the 15th of April in Rabas Post. Welcome to this special interview on Intel Sports today.
Thank you for having me, Moses.
Absolutely. Congratulations, 15 years tracking down the tourism sector from the football field. How does it feel like?
Well, I'm grateful. I'm humbled by it. We've survived Ebola, we've survived Corona, we've survived many erosion from the beach, but most importantly, we are living our dream. And it's not just about me, it's about all the people that work with me. Like I always tell them, I'm the owner, but I'm not the boss, because I have 18, sometimes 20 staff that work with me in Rabas Sport over the last 15 years. Actually, we've been open 15, but we started 16 years. So it's amazing, and this is the thing that I've done longer than play football.
Starting the Major League Soccer, then to AS Maritimo in Portugal, from whence you got the aspiration that tourism was quite the last point that you might delve into after playing professional football?
Well, I didn't have a clear plan, but I love to travel, and football takes you to so many places. And during my career, I lived in some of the most beautiful places. So I lived in Tampa Bay, Florida. It's a tourist hub in Florida, and there's a lot of beautiful beaches. When I left Florida, I went to Maritimo, which is in the Madeira Islands, which is also a beautiful place and a tourist hub for Portugal. Their beach is not as beautiful as the beaches we have in Liberia, particularly the one we have in Rabas Sport. So the seed was being planted in me early, and I didn't realize it. And then once I returned to Liberia, the opportunity presented itself. My father's side of the family is from Rabas Sport. Me and my brother used to spend a lot of time in Cape Town with our grandmother, who I named the business after. And all those things were seeds that were being planted. And when the opportunity came to invest, I didn't hesitate. So many people, Moses said, nobody will go to Cape Town. The road not good. The place too far. Who want to go way over there? You leave from right here in ELB, you go way to Cape Town. But I knew the beach was world class. It was just that, how do I convince people to come and experience
We will
it?
detail a bit about Nana Lodge, the establishment, but let's look at Musa Shannon as a person, a former professional footballer. What message were you trying to pin down in Liberian sporting history?
To redefine the definition of success. You know, yes, I'm a footballer. I can't take that away. That's my history, that's my past. But there's also life beyond football. And what was important for me was to fight hard to bring all the lessons, all the experiences that I had as a professional athlete, as an amateur athlete, into my business world. Everything that will happen to you in football will happen to you in life. There will be ups, there will be downs, there will be disappointment. How do you recover? How do you stay disciplined? How do you stay focused on your end result? All those principles are what I apply to my business strategy and my business mind. And I'm competitive. I don't like to lose, and I like to prove everybody wrong. So it's just like I left one game, and now I'm playing the other game. The only difference is nobody can stop me.
A lot of your colleagues probably might be delving into different field of the football game. That is, some of them want to be coaches, administrators. Yeah, you've tasted being an administrator of the game, vice president at the Liberian FA. Wasn't that quite enough to still keep your appetite up for the football sector in your country?
Football is in my blood. It doesn't go away. from a distance, I'm part of football. But after leaving the field was how can I make a contribution to the game, and that came through being vice president of Liberian football. However, I've experienced some coaching, but I always wanted to be in a position where I could have a long-term, sustainable impact. You know, coaches get fired, and sometimes they get fired for the right reason, and sometimes they get fired for the wrong reason. But as vice president, it was a great learning experience, and I met a lot of amazing people, traveled around the world, and got to make my contribution to Liberian football outside of being a player.
Let's get into 15 years of progressive out-of-field activity, talking about being into tourism, also into sports somehow at a different level, not football. How has it been like for Nana Lodge and Musa Shannon?
Yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. There's been a lot of more good times than bad times, but it's one of the most fulfilling things that I have done as a man in life, to start something from nothing and to see it arrive at 15 years where people are making their living, people are investing more into rubber sport. You've opened the door for so many other people to dream and to come in. We were there at the inception of the surf culture, which is now growing. And you see young men that I knew at 6, 7 years old, today they are 22, 23 years old. So I feel like even though I may be considered the godfather of the beach, I'm still relatively a younger guy, but there's so much more to do. The message, Moses, is that Liberians must believe in Liberia. Nobody gonna do it for us. Nobody gonna come and say this place is more beautiful than it is. No, you have to see the beauty in what they are saying. And that's why I tell my guys that I live in rubber sport all the time. I tell them, you are in one of the most beautiful places in the world and you don't know. They still don't believe me, some of them, but they're starting to see how other people are responding to the town, the place that they are from, and investing, and they're starting to believe it.
Musa, how embracing has it been with this venture? Because in Liberia, there is this culture of inaccessibility, first. Secondly, the locals' ability to accept investment. Thirdly, the bravery of an individual to invest and spend their money in these different localities. You travel all the way down the west coast of Liberia to invest in Nana Lodge, where accessibility is rare, I can say, for the fight. How has it been?
Well, I didn't really see it that way. I saw it as I had an amazing opportunity, and also rubber sport is close to my heart because my father is born there, he grew up there, and I spent time there with my grandmother and with him. So I fell in love with rubber sport in my childhood. So going back to rubber sport was more like a sentimental thing initially, and then it turned into a business. So that's why I say nobody can really beat me because they're going to bury me there. And it's a marathon, you understand? Like for me, I'm looking at 20, 30 years from now. I'm not just looking at today. So to say you will come and do better or intimidate me is difficult because I have a long vision for what we are trying to achieve in rubber sport.
Tell me about your 3 most successful honor-taking since establishing Nana Lodge.
We have, first of all, maintained 18 to 20 staff who are all from rubber sports. So for me, I will start with number 1. Our number 1 achievement is it's an all local staff, which has stimulated the local economy in rubber sport. Each of those 20 people are probably supporting 5 to 7 persons on the little salary that they get from Nana Lodge. 2, we have made people believe in the industry of tourism in Liberia. So now you have so many other businesses that are in the similar style of Nana Lodge. And lastly, it's a dream come true to be able to have a business that can grow in your lifetime and to build something from scratch. I think that is an amazing achievement for anybody. I'm just the lucky guy who happens to be in that space right now.
Let me ask you, you have an all local staff. What's your customer base like? Is it local or international?
So I would say 90% of my customers are expat, either foreigners who are living in Liberia or foreigners who are visiting Liberia or visiting a relative who lives in Liberia. And then we have 5% of our customer are the diaspora. Liberians who coming from Europe, Liberians who come from the United States and other places who are also traveling to the Caribbean and other parts of the world who understand the value of what Liberia has. And then another 5% will be local Liberians who are living here who also want to experience something different and something good. So we would like to see more Liberians come to Nana Lodge, come to Robertsport and experience what we are doing there in the future.
I want to ask you that question. What kind of food is served on the beach? I know on a sunny beach like Nana Lodge is quite amazing, feeling the rise or the sunset.
Well, it's organic seafood because the fish is coming out in less than 24 hours. That fish will be in your stomach and you'll be bringing it back to Monrovia. The lobster, the crab, sometimes the crawfish. So the seafood we try to do is fresh seafood. And then we do a buffet. I have a phrase that now I'm sure somebody will steal it from me. But what we prepare is, I call it international Liberian food. You know, sometimes you fix the pambotta or the cassava leaf or the potato green and you see all kinds of things inside it. Cassava leaf, it can intimidate people. You understand? So when the foreigners come and they see our cassava leaf and they see something jumping from inside, the other one jumping, so they can be like, what is that? But so I can get the cassava leaf clean. Then we put the fish, the chicken, the crab on the side. Then they will decide which one they want to add. And you see those people eating collard green, you see them eating potato green, you see them eating cassava leaf. That is the food they were preparing for them to their house in Europe or America. Because they don't feel intimidated. So when people ask me, I say I prepare international Liberian food.
Okay. Yeah. So, but Musa, let's talk about what happens on Saturday.
Yeah.
What is the glamour like? What is in the celebration?
You know, I learned a long time ago in life you have to celebrate your wins. You know, 15 years is a miracle, to be honest. It's a miracle. I feel so blessed.
That's a decade and a half.
Decade and a half. I've survived so much. We have survived so much. Liberia has survived so much. But for a young Liberian guy who nobody really thought would be doing this type of business, you know, it's an achievement. And I want to just thank people. It's just about gratitude. So we're going to have a live band. We're going to have an open bar. I bring some product in, some Prosecco, and people will be celebrating that. And we're just going to have a good time and just celebrate Robertsport, because Robertsport is magic. When people ask me, what is Robertsport like? I don't have words to explain what happens there. I just say Robertsport is magic. I was surfing this weekend, trying to surf. And, and in the process, I saw the surfers yelling, oh, Bossman, behind you. And they were like the dolphins. And one of my friends has a drone. And he was shooting the footage above the surfers. And you could see about 12 dolphins swimming behind the surfers right off the coast of Robertsport. And in the distance, you see Nana Lodge and all those things. So how do you explain that to anybody? The country is blessed. The country is rich with so many different things. And just to be the guy who is in the moment, because this is a time that will pass, I just feel blessed. So when I have a chance to celebrate with customers, with guests, celebrate Nana Lodge, we just have a party, we have a live band, maybe I will sing. So now, you know, I gave my zero.
Yeah.
I try to enjoy myself. But just to celebrate Liberia, you know, we always hear so many negative stories about this one, that one. But there are wonderful things happening in this country, whether it's Patawi, whether it's Marshall, Buchanan, Robertsport, Blue Lake, whatever. There are some good stories that have happened in this country.
There's one story you haven't told us.
Yes.
There's a cotton tree that speaks the history of Cape Mount. Why you decided to put Robertsport's Nana Lodge right there?
It's another blessing because the cotton tree is a historic cotton tree. You know, it's what the pioneers used, the settlers used to navigate their way into the Vi Kingdom and negotiate with the chiefs and acquire some piece of land in Cape Mount. You know, the first group came from Chevron. They didn't settle well there, and they came to Monrovia. The second group came from Chevron. You don't hear much about them. Yeah. And they settled in Robertsport by that cotton tree. So when Talbot built the hotel, there was a monument that was a testimony to the pioneers that came and settled in Robertsport. So it's quite a historic tree. It's a national archive, and we are building a bar close to it to help to preserve it and protect it. And nobody tampers with the tree. We try to keep it clean, and we try to tell this story, and hopefully the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, can designate it as some kind of cultural heritage site so that people can also come there and know the history of what happened there.
Finally, my final question, Musa, I know you have to go, but give us your own insight about tourism in Liberia. How can this sector be like the extractive industry that we depend on solely for over 100 or 200 years.
As we already know, Moses, Liberia is a blessed country. We've tried the extractive industry for 175 plus years, right? We've tried agriculture for X amount of years. What haven't we tried yet? Tourism. It's the one thing that Liberia has never truly dedicated itself to, but it will come from the private sector. It's going to come from you, it's going to come from me, it's going to come from Liberia seeing value in Liberia, that I want to take my family on a weekend to Rabosport or to Nimba or to Patawi or to Hapa. Of course, the government has to invest in infrastructure, but the future of this country that will unlock the opportunities that we need for young people is going to have to be tourism. The biggest secret of my business is that only 2% in my business can actually read and write. Only 2. The rest of the people, unfortunately, because of our crisis, didn't have the chance to go to school. But because of Nana Lodge, they can have a job, and guess who's going to school now? Their children, because of tourism. So you see the domino effect of it. Now, what if there was no Nana Lodge? There will be fishermen, and in the end, it's not going to be enough to sustain their family. So now they can still do their fisherman business, still come to serve the guests, clean the rooms, help to clean the place clean, throw the garbage away. I mean, there's so many different types of jobs. There's children selling coconut, there's children selling firewood, people selling fish and lobster. You should have seen the barracuda I brought from Cape Town this weekend. I won't even call the press.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it because I know what it is, especially going to the coast of Rabosport. I've been there on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, I've seen you.
Thank you so much, Musa. I never go to Rabosport without visiting Nana Lodge because it's endowed. It looks so amazing whenever you get there.
The last thing, the road has been graded, so this is the place to be this weekend.
Absolutely. Yes. He says this is the place to be. Musa Shannon, former Liberian international footballer, famously known for being a part of the historic victory of the Long Star against the Black Stars of Ghana in 2001 in Accra. 3-1 Shannon sealing up that victory there on that day, that fateful day at the Accra International Sports Stadium. So he's into tourism now. He's into so much, we can say, but it's all about tourism. Nana Lodge on the coast of Cape Palmas. Is that Cape Palmas? Cape Mount? Yeah. So that's where he is. He's having his anniversary this weekend. He said all road leads to Rabosport. That's where the celebration is taking place. 15 years. A decade and a half he's been into this business. He knows that tourism contributes so much to the growth and development of this country, including developing the human capacity and contributing to reducing poverty. We want to say many thanks to you for watching. Hey, keep watching Intel Sports. We say this is the reference point for Liberian sports.
Yes, sir.